I think one of the things that I get asked about the most as a worship leader is how do you flow with Holy Spirit while you're actually in the presence of God? And I'm after a both and approach to planning sets, but also being free to be spontaneous and move with Holy Spirit in the moment. And so there's this practical nature of, I'm not saying don't just go, oh, we'll just move with the Spirit and not plan anything, but the plan actually has to come under, once you get there, with what Holy Spirit wants to do with that group of people in the midst of what's going on in the moment. And I think if you can hold those two things together, where you go, you know what, I've brought this plan and I've connected with my band or with my musicians and we've done this work together. But then when you get to that Sunday, don't write your worship time before it's actually happening. Because what ends up happening, and this is from someone who has liked control and perfectionism a lot in my life, and I'm really trying to come free of that because there is such peace and there's such beauty in being real in the moment that Jesus shows up in the room, and have you ever been swept up in that time of worship and just don't know what to do? That's the point of freedom, that you're like, this is it. This is not a moment to clamp down. This is actually a moment to lift our hands, or to open ourselves up, to open our hearts and go, I actually don't know what to do right now, but I am so present with you right now. And so that flow where you're like, where is this going next, is exactly the sweet spot to be. And it comes from those reps of planning and worshiping and being who you are with the Lord. And then from where he wants to go, that's where you go as a room. That's where you go as a community. And so it's not this pressure of where to go next, where you're holding it so tight. It's actually, God, what are you saying? What do you want to do? And then going there together. And as you're leading people into that, don't feel like you have to have all the answers. I think that's a tendency, especially when we say you're a worship leader, but being a leader is about being vulnerable in that spot in the presence and having that heart soft to go, God, whatever you want to do today in our midst, that's what we want to be after. So just be encouraged that it doesn't have to be an either or approach, that you can actually do the prep work, you can do the planning, you can do the rehearsing, but when you get in that moment, there is an openness that we have, an open-handedness with our plan, because that is where Holy Spirit wants to partner with you as a leader and as a community. So be blessed in that.